I'm Olivia Moore, and I am participating in the 2014 Challenge Interactive Learning Assignment. And I chose this problem, given h of u equals 10 cubed times the square root of u squared minus 1. Find the first derivative of UH, which is prime. And when we do work, we always have to use a little room for scratch work. So I'm going to make this line right here, just so we can make sure that our problem is accurate. And when we have a problem like this, we're going to rewrite it, because the square root, you can't use, prime it without changing this form. So it's going to end up reading HU prime, of course, equals 10 cubed times u squared minus 1 to the square root to the power of 1/2. And that's because if this is 1 and this is automatically 2, that's always how it is in math. So we're going to use the product rule, which is A prime times B plus A times B prime. And this is the product rule. You only use the product rule when you have a multiplication problem. So let's start differentiating. So it's going to be h of u prime equals 10 cubed prime times u squared minus 1/2 plus, because you know this is part of the formula, 10 cubed times u squared minus 1 to the power of 1/2 prime. So now we're gonna actually prime it. So when you prime, you do drop the power 1 less power. So we're gonna do equals 310 squared. And since this is more than 1 in the exponent, we're gonna use the chain rule. And the chain rule is when you take whatever is inside of the parentheses and prime it. So it's gonna be 10 prime times, you have to drop this down. Don't forget it. It's very important to the problem. U squared minus 1 to the power of 1/2 plus 10 cubed times, we're going to drop the power, which is 1/2. So 1/2 times u squared minus 1. And this is going to be negative 1/2, because when you drop the power, 1 less power, so you're subtracting the power from 1. So 1/2 minus 1 is going to equal 1/2 minus 2/2, which is going to essentially equal negative 1/2. So that's how we get the power of 1/2 right here. So, and since this is also more than 1 or less than 1, you have to do the chain rule here as well. So it's going to be times u squared minus 1 prime. And after that, you simplify. So it's going to be equals 310 squared. And 10 prime is always secant squared x. Always. Because, when you use the prime, tan is always sine over cosine, and you're going to use the division method instead of the product method. So that's how we got secant squared x times this. But you can always just convert this back to the square root, because it's going to just be the same thing. Nothing's happening to this part of the equation. So square root of u squared minus 1 plus, actually forgot about this thing right here, plus 10 cubed So it's 1/2. And then when you have something like this, you can just put it over 1 so the negative can go away, because anything over 1 changes it from a negative to positive because it's already a negative. So u squared minus 1/2 times, drop the power 1 less power, 2u, and there's no power here, so that's automatically 1. So drop 1. Anything prime, any number prime itself is always 0, so minus 0. So let me simplify a little more. Just keep simplifying because you always have to find the lowest term in it. So we're gonna do 3tan squared secant squared x square root of u squared minus 1 plus, we're gonna multiply everything together. So it's gonna be 2u tan cubed. You can do this anyway, I just usually put this one in front of the equation, over 2 square root of u squared minus 1, because you remember this is the same thing as this. And as you can see, you have 2 of the same coefficients, so you simplify that, and we end up with 3tan squared secant square x square root u2 minus 1 plus u tan cubed over the square root of u squared minus 1. And this is your answer. I hope y'all found these steps pretty simple and solved the problem.